Hello everybody, it's Kathy Champion and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Kathy's Random Acts of Stamping. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Gastonia, North Carolina, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope that you will find some inspiration, and I hope that you would learn something new in our techniques and card making and paper crafting. Thank you so much, and for all of my tried and true friends, I want to thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all that was done to help me reach my 1,000 mark. Such a milestone. Anyone that's worked a YouTube channel knows that reaching 1,000 subscribers means everything. And a special shout out to Brian Dickey and Tracy and Bill Phillips. I want to thank y'all so much for helping promote my channel and helping me to reach that milestone. It means everything. I was so excited. I was actually in tears when it happened. April the 13th, that day will go down in history in my mind of finally reaching that milestone. So thank you so much. But I'm still growing my channel, so if you are new and you have not subscribed, please do so. Okay, here's my host code for April. It will also be in the description below, along with all of the measurements and all of the products that I used, the product number. So if you want to go shopping at my store, the link for that will be there as well. My host code and how this works, in case you're new, if you spend $50 before shipping and tax and use this host code, when you check out, there'll be a place at the bottom, and if you enter this host code, two things will happen. If you spend $50 or more, you're going to get a free gift from me with a thank you card showing my appreciation for choosing me as your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And that's something that happens all the time. Now, if you spend over $150, do not use this host code. I want you to get the stamping rewards that you will get from making that purchase of $150 or more. Also, any size purchase will put you in the drawing for the Punch Party stamp set. This is a brand new photopolymer stamp set, and it is so stinking cute. And if you have any of the Stampin' Up! Punches, like the double oval or the postage stamp, it will punch out these items. Somebody said that the heart would work, but I'm not sure. I think it's a little bit different size, and I haven't had a chance to check that out. But that was what the Punch Party was all about, being able to use some of the punches that you already have to punch out these images. Great stamp set. I know you'll love it. So with all of that being said, we're going to get busy and we're going to make a project. So we're going to stamp a little bit, and we're going to use some new product. But the first thing I want to show you, these are the new in colors. So if you have been under a rock, you probably haven't seen these. But I'm going to see if I can tell you the names of them. This one is Soft Succulent. It is a beautiful shade of green. It's sort of a soft muted type green. I think it's gorgeous. This one is called, I'm having to look at my ink pads because I can't remember, Pale Papaya. Pale Papaya. And I would say this is in between a light orange and a peach. It's beautiful. Evening Evergreen. This is a beautiful dark, it's sort of like a hunter green, and I know they had a one of their end colors before I started Stampin' Up! Was very similar to this color, so I've heard. Now this color right here, Polished, is it Polished Pink? Yes, Polished Pink is gorgeous. I love this one. But I think I'm really leaning toward this one, and this one is called Fresh Freesia. And it is almost like the Purple Posy, but it's a little bit different in the hue. This has got a very soft feel of lavender. I love it. And these colors are stunning. Look at this, look at those two together and these two together. I love it. And even this one thrown in with this combination is pretty. These colors are just gorgeous. And we are going to be using one of these today. And we're going to make a card. But I want to share something with you. I want to show you, and I cannot take credit for this cut. This was actually a cut from Connie Stewart. And if any of you have watched Connie, she is a excellent demonstrator. She is very creative, and I love Connie to death. But she does a thing called flashcards. And with flashcards, what you do is you take a light piece of cardstock like this, and you cut it down, and you take a dark piece that you will use for your matting, for your mats behind the white piece, and you cut it down. And it's so simple to do. I'm going to show you how to do this. You basically take your dark piece first, and you're going to put it in your trimmer on the 8.5 inch side, and you're going to cut it in half at 4 1/4, because it's 8.5. Half of 8.5 is 4 1/4. So we're going to slice this in two. Then we're going to take both of these pieces, and my trimmer has a new blade, so I know how to handle it. I'm going to put them together and bring it to 5 1/2 and cut those in half. Just like that. Then you're going to take these two, and you're going to cut those in half. We know it's 5 1/2. Half of 5 1/2 would be 2 3/4. So 2 3/4 will be half of this. So there is 4 of your flashcards, and then we're going to do the other 2 at 2 3/4. And now we have 8. We have 8 pieces now, so we can use this to make 8 cards. Now we're going to take our white piece, and we got to do a little bit of fancy footwork on this one. Looks like I got 2 pieces, but I don't. This isn't the thick either. This is the basic white. So what we're going to do with this, we need to cut this down so it will be 8 by 10. So we know it's 8.5. So we're going to take a 1/2 inch off of one side. So a 1/2 inch. So now we know we've got it 8. So we're going to turn it this way. We're going to go ahead and put our arm out. Or you know what? We know that this is 11 and we want it to be 10. So we're just going to take an inch off. So any way you want to do this, as long as it's 8 inches by 10 inches. So I'm going to take 1 inch off of it right here. And that's going to give me my 8 by 10. So 8 inches here by 10 inches this way. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to cut it in half. So if it's 8, half of that would be 4. So we're going to cut this at 4. Put it together. We know it's 10, so half of that's going to be 5. So we're going to cut those at 5. And then we're going to cut these in half, because so half of 5 would be 2 1/2. So we're going to bring this to 2 1/2 and slice. And then we're going to do the same thing with this piece, these 2 pieces. Put it back in the trimmer, bring it to 2 1/2. And some of you may have already seen this. So now you have 8 pieces here. Now these are going to be our pieces that we're going to stamp on. Now we're not going to make 8 cards. I'm going to show you how to do 1. But I want to show you how beautiful. Let me move my trimmer. We're not done with the trimmer. We're going to bring it back. But I want to show you how cute these layer up. Now you have a, whatever color that you want to put this on, you've got a piece to stamp on, and you've got a beautiful frame around it. And the reason the black looks so good, yeah, we all know black goes with everything, and you could use this on pattern paper as well as a solid paper. So you see it would look beautiful on that. It would look beautiful on that. Let's even go to our dark evening evergreen. Evergreen. It's going to take me forever. Even on that, it would be pretty, but it looks better on a lighter, lighter colors, of course. So, with all of that being said, let's go ahead and stamp. I'm going to move these over to the side. Let's look and see what we have in a pattern paper. And I'm going to pull one of our new papers. This is our hand-pinned designer series paper, and it goes with this hand-pinned petals. It also comes with dies, and this paper is gorgeous. And I'm going to go through, oh, look at that. Look how pretty that would look on that. Oh, gorgeous, gorgeous. Look at that. Oh, I love it. That blue right there. Let's see if that is black. Let me grab my bifocals and we can see Misty Moonlight. It says that the colors that you can use are Basic Black, Blushing Bride, Cinnamon Cider, Daffodil Delight, Garden Green, Highland Heather, Mint Macaron, Misty Moonlight, Pale Papaya, Pool Party, and Basic White. So, I think what I want to do is use this piece. You know why? I'm going to pair it with this, I think. I don't know. I always, when I pull out a beautiful piece of paper, then I second guess myself. So let's look a little further. That's pretty. I love that piece right there. Have you ever had paper, and I'm sure y'all all know what I'm talking about. You don't want to cut it because it's so pretty, but you know that we can't do that. We have to cut our paper because that's why we make cards. We want to share the beauty with other people, and I think I'm going to use this piece. That piece is really speaking to me, and I'm thinking... I love the Blushing Bride with this. But I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to get a card base, and I think I'm going to use the Misty Moonlight. So, let's pull a piece of Misty Moonlight. Oh, yes, look how beautiful that is. I love the Misty Moonlight. We're going to cut our card base out of this. And I came on and I just winged this as we're going because I wasn't really sure which way I wanted to go with it. But we're going to go ahead and cut this at 5.5 on the 11-inch side. And then we're going to turn this, and I'm going to score it at 4 1/4. And then we're going to give that a nice fold. I'll get my bone folder. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit that down and hold it on my edges, and then I'm going to press the fold into this cardstock. I like nice crisp edges. So now what I want to do is I'm going to cut this down to 3 3/4. And you might ask, why are you cutting it down? Because wouldn't 4 inches be your mat? Yes, it would, but I want a little bit more of that Misty Moonlight showing. So I'm going to do it at 3 3/4. And then I am going to cut this at 5. And now we have a beautiful mat, and we're getting to see enough of that Misty Moonlight. And then we have this that's going to go on top of here. So we've got to figure out now our stamping, which to me this is always the fun part. So I'm going to pull my stamp set out. Let me move my cardstock over out of my way. And again, this is a photopolymer stamp set, and then we've got the new way of storing our photopolymer stamps. I love this. I love it. I love it. I think it's ingenious. So I'm going to use this particular petal right here, and this right here will stamp in there and get those petals. This flower will stamp right there, and then of course you've got your leaves that will stamp in here. Love the stamp set because not only is it a two-step stamp set. I'll get it out in a minute. I just completely had a brain freeze where I wasn't thinking what I wanted to say. I hate that. I'm going to get a couple stamp blocks out, and I think I need the bigger one for this because I want it to pick up all the way around. And we've got our piece here. I'm going to bring out my Stampin' Pierce mat because we need that. We also need a piece of grid paper. so we can protect our mat because we're going to be stamping off. I'm also going to grab my Memento Tuxedo Black because I want to stamp this in black so it's nice and bold. So I'm going to bring this right here so you can see what I'm doing. So press your ink pad really good into your stamp. Get it inked up really good. Make sure you don't miss any spots. And then we are going to stamp this kind of at an angle, kind of on and a little, maybe a little off. I might be able to get it all on there. And I'm just going to put some nice firm pressure. And if you have trouble with your Memento ink not giving you a nice clear image, you can do one of two things. You can let it sit on your paper a little bit longer like I'm doing now, or use a Stamparatus or some type of positioning tool, and you will always get a really good image if you do that. With a stamp positioner like the Stamparatus, you have the opportunity of re-inking. When you're stamping like this, you don't have that opportunity, because once you stamp, you're never going to get that stamp back identically in the place that you had it before. It's just the nature of the beast. So, you know, if you do a stamp positioning tool, you do have that opportunity to come back. Now, I'm going to show you one that I did, and I did this using, this is one that I did using the same technique. I did an embossing on the fresh freesia I used back here, and I used the fresh freesia, and I did the two-step stamping in this except the leaves, and I colored them. I think what I'm going to do to change this up, we're going to use our stamping blends, and we're going to color this. I think that'll be something a little bit different. So I'm going to pull out my colors that I want to color this, and I think I might stick with the same. No, I'm not. I'm going to pull some of these colors that I have in this background paper. So maybe a Highland Heather and a Misty Moonlight for our flowers, and the Mint Macaron. So let's do, there's our Mint Macaron and our Misty Moonlight and Highland Heather, and that, they say Daffodil Delight, but I am seeing So Saffron. It looks softer than the Daffodil Delight, so I'm going to use So Saffron, and these are going to be the colors that I want to use for this piece. Now I'm going to let this dry just for a minute, and while I'm doing that, while it's drying, I am going to clean my surface and get everything ready for coloring, and I will be right back. Alright, so now we're ready to go ahead and color these, and I need to decide which colors I want to use on which petals. I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and start with our leaves. I'm going to start with the Mint Macaron, and I'm going to go in and color these leaves with the lighter color. And I'm just going to, all I'm doing is just putting down some color. The Stampin' Blends are so forgiving because they don't streak. Unlike water-based markers, you do get some streaking, but these color absolutely seamless, and they're, I mean, they make anybody look like an artist. So you don't have to be an artist to color with these alcohol blends or Stampin' Blends. So I'm going to use the smaller end on here because you get a brush tip, and you also get what I like to call a bullet tip. And I'm going to use the bullet tip to come in and just go down these lines like that. And that will give us our stem. And I might make that, I don't know, I think we'll color that the color of the flower. Alright, I'm going to come back in with the darker one, and I'm going to use the bullet tip on this, and I'm going to draw just where these lines are at. And I think I'll come down the stem and just make it a tiny bit darker. just like that. And then we're going to come back with the soft color, the light mint macaron, and I'm just going to blend so that it doesn't have that harsh lines there. It just kind of blends everything out, and it makes it look like it's been shadowed a little bit, but it hasn't. You've just used your Stampin' Blend. So we got that color done. So now I want to come in with my Misty Moonlight. And for this one, I'm going to start off with the dark. Because what I want to do is I want to put a little dark around the bottom, around each petal. And all I'm doing is just kind of going around where I think the dark would be. And then we are going to come back in with the light, and we're just going to color. And I'm pulling up the color as I go. It's so easy to do this, and it makes, I don't know, it just makes a really pretty image. And the Stampin' Blends, once they dry, they lighten. So, and that way you can look at it after it dries and see if you think you need to come in with any more color, or if you need to bring the color lifter in, or the blending, to add a little bit of light to it. But I like that. I think it looks very pretty. So now I'm going to do the Highland Heather, and I'm going to do the dark first. And all I'm going to do with the dark is just put these little pieces in, and I'm going to go around the edges just a tiny bit. Just like that, maybe a little bit right there. And then I'm going to grab the light. I love the Highland Heather. I think it's so pretty. And we're just going to go, I'm leaving that center because I want to come in with that, with the So Saffron, and I'm going to use the darker of this one, and we're going to put just a little bit of color right there in the middle of that flower. And now I'm looking at this, and I'm thinking I need to bring this to the edge because that kind of went off of the page, and I like this. But I want to show you with the color lifter. This is the blend. It's called Color Lifter, and this is absolutely fantastic because if you say you wanted this to be a little lighter right in here, you can just come in and put some lines in, and what it does is it kind of lifts the color a little bit and gives you a little bit lighter image just where you do that. And when it dries, you'll be able to see that, and it is just stunning, I think. Okay, we got that all out of the way, so I'm just going to move my Stampin' Blends over here out of our way, and I want to put a sentiment up here at the top. So I'm going to grab a smaller stamp block, and I want to use the thanks right there, because this is going to, I want to make this a thank you card. Y'all know I'm always needing thank you cards because I send y'all thank you cards when you place an order with me. So there we go. So I'm going to grab the Misty Moonlight just to kind of go with the theme that we've got going here. So Misty Moonlight, and we're going to stamp that up. Do it over here. I think we need to bring this back. So let's move our ink over. Let's set this on top of that. And ink it up again. And look at the difference. Can you see that from this one to this one? This one I didn't use the Stampin' Pierce Matte. This really does bring your photopolymer stamps to life. And not just Stampin' Up, but any photopolymer stamps. This piece right here is a wonderful addition to your craft supplies. think I'm going to put it right about there. So press that down and up. Very pretty, just what I wanted. So now I think we're ready to put the card together. What do you think? I love it. So let's move all this stuff out of our way and let's get down to business. So I think the first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and adhere this where I want it. And I think I'm going to use my Stamp & Seal Plus because I love this one. And we're going to, I'm just going to put some all the way around. I like the Stamp & Seal Plus much better than I do the regular Stamp & Seal. Now, I've seen other people use it, and they seem like they are. Make sure you turn your paper the right direction. This is directional paper. It also helps if you get your card going in the right direction. But like I was saying, I've seen people use the Stamp & Seal, just the regular, and they seem to really love it. But I have a hard time with it. I don't know if it's me. And I've heard some other people say that they prefer the Plus over the regular because the regular, for me, it seems to be a little bit harder to use. It seems to be, I don't know. I guess, like I said, it's a personal preference. For me, I like this one much better. So now we want to center this on this piece of black, our black flash card. Get that down just like that and press it. And now we're going to decide if we want to offset it, if we want to center it, or offset it up here. I like it offset right this way. I don't know why. To me, it's just appealing to the eye. So I'm going to turn that over and I'm going to put some Stamp & Seal. I finally stopped calling this Press & Seal. That took a long time. There was something about saying seal that just made me want to talk about my Press & Seal because I use that all the time. I use it in my kitchen and I also use it here in the craft room. So it took me a little while. I'm going to place that right about there. That looks straight. I think it's pretty good. And we have the new ribbons as well, but I didn't use that color, so let's see. I think I'll grab my Misty Moonlight. This will be pretty on there. It will coordinate. So we're going to make a little bow, and I'm just going to do a simple little bunny ear bow. I'll make my loops a little bigger than I want them to be so I can tie. What is that old saying? Don't try to tie a bow on camera because you will mess up every time. That is so true. Every time I try to tie one on and I'm filming, I always seem like I have difficulty. But maybe this time works. Yes! You see what I mean about our loops? I made them big so I can pull them. And now that we got our little bow all tied, and it looks kind of cute. I love these little small bows like this. I'm going to use a glue dot. Let me move my drink out of the camera. I'm going to use a glue dot to put this down. And these work so well because you can just take your glue dot, and you can see it right there, and just press your ribbon into it, and it picks it up. Just like that. Now your glue dot is on the back of your ribbon, and it makes it really nice to put that down right on the corner. Just press it, and that holds that down. Now that we've got the front of it done, almost, I want to pull out some jewels and decide what I want to put on the front. And I've got the little in colors that has my these are our 2020 through 2022 in colors, which is Magenta Madness, Just Jade, Misty Moonlight, Cinnamon Cider, and Bumblebee. So we are going to use, of course, the Misty Moonlight. since that was the color that we are playing with the most on here. So I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm going to slide off one of those, and I'm going to put one right here. And you know, adding gems like this to your card really does add a lot. And I like to put 3 on there, so I'm going to put 2 up there and maybe 1 right here. Okay, so those are all good. So now we need to work on our inside, and deciding exactly what we want to put on our inside can sometimes be a little challenging, but you know what? We're going to do this. I am going to grab a piece of, I think I'm just going to go with a plain piece of white inside the card. So I'm going to grab a piece of white cardstock. And this is our basic white. And we're going to cut a, we need a piece that is 5 1/4 by 4. So I'm going to cut this down to 4. By 5 1/4. And now we are going to do a little bit more stamping. So I'm going to turn that over, and I like to take a bone folder, and I like to iron out these edges. You know, whenever you cut your paper, it curls the edges that you cut. And if you don't like that look, just iron it. That's what I always say. Just iron. Be careful and don't do what I do. I got a wrinkle in mine, but I think I got it pressed out. So what I'm going to do now is decide exactly what I want to put on here. And I'm thinking maybe those little flowers right there. So let's look. These little flowers right here would be so cute. Right about there. Maybe that would be even cuter. Let's go with that. I like that. And of course we're going to do it in the Misty Moonlight. So let me grab my ink pad. I should have left it out. Do y'all do that? You clean up thinking you're done with something and then you realize you have to pull it back out? I do that all the time. So I need my Stampin' Pierce mat again. So I'm going to put that right there. And I'm going to ink this up. That beautiful Misty Moonlight. And I'm going to stamp that right there in that corner. And when you're stamping, if you press straight down, don't wiggle, just hold it, and then bring it up. That is always so pretty. It always gives you just the right image that you want. And I think it's beautiful. So maybe we do want to come back in with these little flowers. What if we put these right in the middle of that? Do you think that would be pretty? You know, we don't know if we don't try. And if we mess this up, it's just a piece of cardstock. So let's try that. We might even do 2 of those. Let's do one like this. And maybe one like that. I'm not crazy about it. That's why we got 2 sides. So, you know what we could do? Let's try this. Let's try that in the Misty Moonlight. Right about let's try this in the Misty Moonlight right about here. That's pretty. And we're going to take this one and we're going to mount it. And we are going to come back with our black So my Memento Black, and we're going to put this like so. I like that. You don't see the little dots in there as much as I would like, but it does give the flower a little stem, and those little pieces are poking out in there. So I think that'll work. So now we need a sentiment. And for my sentiment, I have this this is a stamp set that is due to retire, and Field of Flowers is one of my favorites because I love this across the bottom, and I wish I'd done that, but nevertheless I'm going to use Always Thinking of You. And with it being a thank you card, I think that will play in very well with what I'm wanting this to say. So I'm going to take this one and put it back where it belongs, which is right here. And we are going to grab the Always. And I wonder if we can get all of this on a stamp block. Always Thinking of You. Maybe something like that. And I'm going to grab the bigger stamp block where I can pick all that up in one shot. And I'm going to ink this up in the Misty Moonlight. And we are going to stamp right about here. Ah, beautiful. I love that. So that worked out really pretty. So now all we have to do is put our card together. So let's bring our card back over. And let's get this ink closed back up for two reasons. We don't need to put our hands in it, and I don't want my inks to dry. So now let's open this up, and we are going to use some of our Stamp and Seal. Just like that, and then we're going to set this down right about there and press it. And now we have a beautiful little card that is a cute little thank you, and we did it with the flashcard technique, using that flashcard technique. And as you can see, where's my other card? You can make it look different just by changing up. So you can use this particular layout in so many different ways, and you can could actually do it crossways and stamp it crossways if you needed to, you know, in the landscape mode, and just put your whatever you're putting on there a little bit different. But this is a great technique to use to make beautiful cards. This one I used all solids and did an embossing. This one I decided to use Designer Series paper, and I used some of our older in colors. This one is totally our new in colors. So it just depends on what you want your card to be, what you want it to look like, and the colors that you choose. So make it yours, make it your own. And I'm going to zoom y'all in, and we're going to center in on this card, since this is the one that we made today. And I hope that y'all enjoy this, and I hope that this is something that you would take into your craft room and be able to use this cut cutout, and I will have those dimensions below so that if you want to cut out some different colored light and dark cardstock, and you could file those away in a little box or a drawer, and then you would have those next time that you would needed a quick card, because flashcards make it very quick to throw a card together. So I enjoyed making this with all of you. I hold each and every one of you in my prayers every day. I love you guys so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you once again for helping me reach 1,000 subscribers. And it has gone over 1,000. I think when I checked yesterday, it was up to like 1,021. So I am growing, and I have each and every one of you to thank for that. And I will continue to try to put up good content where I teach you and inspire you. That is my goal. I love you all so much, and as I always say in closing, let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Father in heaven. He is so worthy. And until we craft again, God bless and keep you. Don't forget to subscribe. I love you guys so much. Bye-bye.